If you've been with us all day today, Friday, January 24th, 2020, we've been hyping up the night games for a particular reason, because now the host Cougars, both women and men, are getting set to take on the Falcons from Concordia University, Wisconsin. If you've been with us all day, hope you haven't missed these faces. He's Carter Gledhill. I'm Ryan Fahey. And Carter, boy, I don't know how to describe the energy and the loudness that we've had here in the past 15 or so minutes before we started talking on air today, but there are going to be some feels in the Geisman Gymnasium tonight.
Well, you can see we got the Cougar Crazies already behind us, packing the student section. It's already been loud. There's been so much energy already in the first two games. I think the roof's going to be blown off this place by the night's done.
And with that being said, the Cougars, we're starting with the women's game, then the men will follow. The women Cougars, 5-10 overall, 4-7 in Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference play. Well, for the Falcons, 9-6 overall, 8-3 in Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference play. However, in the CIT, the Falcons and the Cougars are familiar with each other from 10 nights ago.
And you know what? I mean, the Cougars, it was a rough couple nights when 10 nights ago. It wasn't the best offensive performance of the season. The Falcons stopped them in their tracks. They only shot 28% from the field and were 5 for 22 behind the arc. And that's something we usually don't see out of the Cougars. But after a 3-game win streak, the Cougars are on a bench track, and they're looking to redeem themselves tonight in Geisman Gymnasium.
And if you're just joining us here on the Cougar Sports Network, we had two prior games for our CIT tournament action today. They were both won by the Nebraska Bulldogs of Concordia University, CUNE. The women got us started with a 74-49 victory over the Cardinals of Concordia Ann Arbor, and then the men followed suit with a victory of their own, taking care of business over that same university, 79-57. So those two teams will wait for their respective opponents that we're going to see tonight. But as we go back to those Bulldogs teams that we saw, boy, they're going to be a tough bunch no matter who they face.
And those Bulldogs are rough and rowdy, and they love to push the pace of the game. We saw them flying up and down the court. They were really pushing the Cardinals to their breaking point, and we saw that in the second half. They just didn't have enough gas in the tank to keep up with them when it came down to the later stretch.
You mentioned the game from 10 nights ago between these Falcons and Cougars that are behind us out on the floor right now. Bus breakdowns and all, they still made the trip up there, but it seemed as if from that game to the Aurora game that we had the opportunity to see, something lit a fire under head coach Lauren Martin's team.
And it was really just change and learning to love each other and really work together as a group, because we've seen this team go on the 3-game win streak, and all of that is due to the part that they were working together and worked out the kinks that we saw a young team early on in the year wouldn't have worked as well in the wins. But now we've seen a mature team, and that's partially the leadership that we've seen from number 3, Annika Ray.
Annika Ray is going to be a storyline to follow along with many here on this Friday night inside the Geisman Gymnasium. We'll get you our key players to watch as you take a look at the Cougar Crazies. It is getting loud inside the Geisman Gymnasium. More to come next here on CSN.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
You get a look at the mascot in the house tonight. He's got his pre-introduction sign ready to go. I can't see it right now. He's got it blocked by the bench, but nevertheless, we'll keep an eye on what he's got sporting a little bit later on. Alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fahey. The bands are rocking between the Falcons and the Cougars' respective sides. And with this matchup being said, Carter, it's the second time these two teams are playing off against each other. Who do we need to look out for? And we'll start with the Concordia, Wisconsin Falcons.
And for the Concordia, Wisconsin Falcons, first player we got to look out for is Cameron Shaliga. She was an absolute force to be reckoned with in their last game that we saw against CUC. She finished tonight with 20 points and 7 rebounds with an assist as well. But she's going to be critical in leading the offense, also headed by the leading scorer in number 20, Clara Chambers. She's been absolutely a factor too. She's had 16 points as well and 7 rebounds, and she's going to be something else that's going to be controlling the paint and the board for the Falcons.
And now to the side of the Cougars, because I mentioned before we took that timeout that there's been a fire lit under this Cougars team, because in terms of the women's side of the CIT, they're one of the hottest teams as well coming into this weekend's action.
And it is. They're coming off a great win streak right now. They have a 6-game win streak, and it's going to be a hard environment for any team doesn't matter what division or what sport you play, when you become into a hostile environment with a lot of energy like the CIT, anything can happen.
You just saw their head coach Lauren Martin in her second season with this Cougars program. They finished 10-27 a year ago, but nevertheless, you know, this is a team, we mentioned that a fire's been lit under them, but for the Cougars themselves, you know, they're a young team. You look at the 19 total players on the roster, and I talk about how young they are, 10 of them are freshmen.
And Coach Lauren Martin basically brought it out. This is her recruiting class. This is the class that she was able to bring in and she knows everything about. But you see that there's so many freshmen already making a tremendous impact on this team, really accounting for almost 68% of their points as we've seen throughout the season. And one of the key freshmen that we've seen excel at this level, 4th in conference in scoring, and she is 15th among all players in NCAA D3, is number 2, Tara Hastings.
Tara Hastings, I had the opportunity to speak to Lauren Martin after that victory against Lakeland just 8 nights ago, and she's even kind of speechless at what Hastings even can do, because no matter what she does, whatever you ask her to do, she can do it, and she can do pretty well at it.
And it's really, you don't see a lot of freshmen doing that, especially at a competitive college level. So to see a freshman already showing maturity throughout the year and becoming a leader on the offensive side, it's a great sight to see for a 4-year future for the Cougars.
For those that have waited to see the CIT come to River Forest here in 2020, here we are. It is getting loud. It was loud earlier if you were with us for the first 2 games, and of course a credit to the Ann Arbor and Nebraska respective fans that have made the trip out here. You see the Cougars getting warmed up here with their little pregame ritual out inside the paint on the right side of the floor. And of course, Stacy Brenner-Jones, the head coach of the Concordia, Wisconsin Falcons in her 16th season, sporting a record of 293 wins, 130 losses. Our officials for tonight's match, Mark Wolfel, LaShaw Hobson, and Alyssa Parco are your officials for game number 3 on day 1 of the 2020 Concordia Invitational Tournament. We're actually going to also have a special national anthem performance by the Concordia University Chicago Choir. We'll, of course, have that for you live. And, of course, we'll have it over to our public address announcer, Jim Egan, for our introductions and the starting lineup for both the Falcons and the Cougars. The Fatheads are also out over with the Cougar Crazy student section across the floor from us. We already see one of Lauren Martin, the head coach, along with some of the other assistants and some of the men's players as well. As you see how packed it is on the left side of your screen, the Cougar Crazies are in full effect. The CIT tournament is in full effect. And now, to get you started for game number 3 on day 1 of the 2020 Concordia Invitational Tournament, let's turn it on over now to the public address announcer, Jim Egan.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we would ask all who are able to please rise. Gentlemen, kindly remove your hats. We will begin with an opening word of prayer by Concordia Chicago senior Bethany Haney. Following the prayer, please remain standing as we honor America, the men and women of our military, and our first responders with our national anthem, which will be performed this evening by Concordia Chicago's Capella.
Dear God, thank you for bringing us all together this evening. Thank you for this tournament and the opportunity for us to gather together as a community. Help all the athletes competing and fans watching tonight to represent you through their words and actions. Bless this weekend and keep everyone safe. In your name we pray, amen.
Whose
evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Concordia University, Chicago, and the 69th Annual Concordia Invitational Tournament. Tonight's first round women's game is between the Falcons of Concordia University, Wisconsin, and the Cougars of Concordia University, Chicago. Let's meet tonight's starters. First for the Falcons. At guard, a 5'7" senior from Janesville, Wisconsin, number 1, Caitlin Foster. At guard, a 5'8" junior from Columbus, Wisconsin, number 2, Hannah Betcher. At forward, a 6' sophomore from Waukesha, Wisconsin, number 10, Cameron Zoliga. At guard, a 5'8" senior from Mineral Point, Wisconsin, number 20, Clara Chambers. And at guard, a 5'8" junior from Hales Corner, Wisconsin, number 24, Emily Haithman. The assistant coaches are A.C. Clothier and Brittany Herrick, and the head coach of the Falcons is Stacy Brunner-Jones. And now, here are the starters for the Concordia Chicago Cougars. At forward, a 5'10" senior from Anaheim, California, number 3, Annika Ray. At forward, a 5'9" freshman from Broadview, number 1, Charisma Robinson. At guard, a 5'3" freshman from New Lenox, number 2, Tara Hastings. At guard, a 5'8" freshman from Cary, number 13, Bailey Steinkamp. And at guard, a 5'6" senior from Oak Park, number 25, Michaela Thornton. The assistant coaches are Kayla Toussaint and Anthony Johnson. And the head coach of the Cougars is Lauren Martin.
Carter, I think I'm deaf.
If that did not give you goosebumps, it definitely did us. That was absolutely insane what just occurred in Geisman Gymnasium. The most packed we've seen this gym all year because of CIT, but you can see the Cougar Crazies in full out, all maroon gear. Flags are flying, fat heads are up in the air. It's going to be an exciting night tonight in Geisman Gymnasium.
Falcons will be in the blue, white trim, white numbers and letters, while the Cougars are in their whites with the gold numbers and letters to correlate. They're going left to right on your screen, the Falcons right to left. Charisma Robinson at the tip for Chicago. Cameron Shaliga at the tip for the Falcons. It is loud inside the Geisman Gymnasium. Friday night in action in the 69th CIT. It's the Cougars, it's the Falcons, and away we go. Caitlin Foster controls the opening tip.
You see Charisma Robinson already on the ball. That's kind of her role as a defender throughout the year, as the lockdown defender. As also, she's second in the conference with steals, so that's another role she's going to have to take on for the Cougars tonight.
Foster still in on Robinson, who pokes it away out of bounds. 13 on the shot clock, still with the Falcons. This has the heavyweight feel to it in a boxing fight, does it not?
It is. It's going to be an all-out fight till the end. It's going to be a fantastic game, we hope, and you can already hear the Cougar Crazies going insane.
Driving in the paint inside there was Chambers, Clara Chambers, the senior from Mineral Point, Wisconsin. As she got fouled going up for the shot, Michaela Thornton gets called forward. That's her first and the team's first and our first foul of the night.
A little too much body there by Michaela Thornton, but the right idea. You're going to see a lot of times from the Cougars on the defensive side, a little backside help coming over, trying to distract, because they're going to try to force you to take the outside shot.
First free throw is good from Chambers, a 75% free throw shooter on the season. She's got one more for head coach Stacey Brenner-Jones in her 16th season from Winona State. Second free throw, no good. Thornton the rebound. Thornton into the front court. And we talked about this with the Nebraska Bulldogs from both the men and women's games that we saw. The Cougars, not strangers at all to being turnover happy when it comes to forcing steals for themselves too.
No.
That one is poked away and stolen, and here come the Falcons.
And that's going to be one of the things the Cougars are going to have to correct tonight if they want to do that.
And a charge is called on the floor. Hastings took a hard bump doing so defensively. And you don't want to see that kind of a set where she's slow to get up here just 49 seconds in. But either way, she gets up okay and takes the charge. And you see the bench in much appreciation for the Cougars.
But you see the freshman standing in there, staying tall, keeping her feet flat, and taking the hard hit. But it also didn't allow them to score, and that's going to be huge tonight is those small momentum changes that we're going to be seeing because each team feeds pretty well off of those.
Robinson now over to Hastings, who we saw take that charge a moment ago. Steinkamp at the left side, circling to the top with 12 on the shot clock. Annika Ray, who has come on strong for Concordia Chicago the last couple of weeks, getting the start. 5 on the shot clock. Ray for Thornton. Thornton, step back, 3 ball. Too strong, and no good. The rebound control by Hannah Betcher. Foster ahead to the right angle, has it tipped inside. It's now for Hafman. Free throw line jumper shot is off the rim, glass and no good, and Thornton gets another rebound. Robinson inside, muscling her way in, shot short, but the rebound to Chambers. Only 1 point so far here, the first minute 45 of action. As it's one-on-one, Robinson and Foster, both with jersey numbers as well. Hafman out of the right corner for Chambers. That 3 ball is up, that's way off the glass. And controlled by Steinkamp, the freshman from Cary, Illinois.
One thing that was really impressive on that last stance is the defensive shifts around for the Cougars, something that they were slow at the beginning of the year, but to see them already fired up and being quick around, helping each other on screens is something, a good sight for Coach Lauren Martin.
Robinson. Spin move, what a move by Charisma Robinson. First points for the Cougars tonight.
And she's not built like the big man, but she's got the speed of a guard, but she acts as a big man, using her body and getting the defender on the backside. Really great for the Cougars to see that early.
Bad pass inside Cougars basketball. Here's one more look at that Robinson spin move in.
You see here, all she does, quick move, getting the defender on the backside, and that's something that she's been so good at as well. And the other thing is, too, she gets a lot of rebounds. She leads the team in rebounds, too, with almost 6 a game.
Hastings now at the right angle, 20 on the shot clock. Risky pass inside. Thornton keeps it in, and a nice pass in for Ray, who scores.
You see, that was a great setup there. You see Thornton coming around a double screen and actually was intended to go back on the back screen, but then you just see the great job. That was a shot she would have taken earlier in the year, but she gave it up wisely.
Countering right away is Cameron Shaliga, the sophomore from Waukesha, Wisconsin. As it's back to a 1-point game, as we're just over 3 minutes into our opening quarter. The chance of CUC versus CUW rivaling each other as Hastings 3 is good from downtown.
As a freshman, I talked to her before the game and I said, how do you feel coming into it? She said that she's going to have a little nerves, and I can guarantee you after that you saw a little fist pump. She's fired up already.
So it's not just us that are fired up for these games.
No.
That tipped out of bounds by Robinson, and it'll stay with the Falcons, 15 on the shot clock. As coming on in now is Cameron Krapp, the first-year player, 5'3" guard checking in as she takes Betcher's spot. And now also in is number 40, the 6'1" center, the freshman Lindsay Smitsdorf from Coon Rapids, Minnesota.
You see Annika Ray right now on number 40, Smitsdorf, and that's something that's going to be a disadvantage because Smitsdorf is a post player, but Ray's going to have to step up and do a team another big favor in guarding the post.
So an early 4-point lead for the Cougars. I still have goosebumps even after the introductions we just had.
Yeah. Another thing that I like right now by the Cougars, we would have seen a lot of fast-paced transitions, and that's something they did early on. This is the first team we've seen actually slow the game down and take it possession by possession, actually running offensive plays.
As now it's Kratt the other way, leaving it off for Caitlin Foster. Top of the circle for Hafman, out of the left side for Chambers as they look inside. Shot off the glass and rim, no good. Rebound controlled by Ray.
Credit Charisma Robinson on that, coming through the backside. That was exceptionally job right there, making sure that Smitsdorf was contested when she got the ball in the paint.
Hastings right wing with control. Steinkamp, that's a long-range three if it goes, and that's way off, though, and out of bounds. Betcher and Shaliga now come back in. Crystal Core checks in for CUC as Steinkamp comes out. And coming out for the Falcons there was Chambers and Hafman. And what's interesting enough here with the setup we have here for the CIT is that actually goes into the Cougar Crazies. I was going to say, is that ball going to come back? But it's interesting how we have it set up that the Falcons and Cougars student sections are a section away from each other on the same side.
And I don't know if we're going to get a good shot of this right now, but if you can see, the maroon is outnumbered the white shirts in whole. They've filled the whole student section.
It's not even close.
It's not close. It's already extending up to the top bleachers.
Shaliga nearly facing a double team, gets it off over to Kratt right side, 10 on the shot clock. That hits off the foot of Robinson out of bounds. It'll stay with the Falcons.
But we see there the Cougars, something that Coach Martin does a lot is change up the defense. Went from a man last possession and is now in some kind of trap on the sideline. It's something that she does and it's unique to her coaching style to try to get the Falcons off of their game in any way possible.
I never thought I'd say this on a broadcast, but a Jim Egan fathead has made its way on camera.
I see it.
As the shot clock winds down, that's not going to count. Shot clock violation, did not get it off in time. It's Cougars basketball.
And we've seen that so many times already throughout the two previous games between Ann Arbor and Nebraska, and that's not knowing with the shot clock. That's because of the noise factor in Geisman. It's so hard to concentrate, but you can see the advantage that the Cougars have with the Cougar Crazies right now in the section.
It's definitely an experience unlike any other. If you're able to come out tomorrow as we get an offensive foul on Core, so that's going to go the other way. If you're able to come out tomorrow, come to the door for tickets. You go to cucougars.com/CIT as well. I mean, of course, this is our first experience here, but I mean, this is a sight to behold here in the Geisman Gymnasium. As this pass inside, waiting for it there, but missing the shot with Smitsdorf. Ball loose on the floor, it's out of bounds. It's going to go to CUC. Chambers now comes back in. Megan Long checks in for the first time tonight for the Cougars as Thornton comes out for head coach Lauren Martin. And coming out for head coach Stacey Renner-Jones of the Falcons is Lindsay Smitsdorf. So far, a 1 of 7 start from the field for the Falcons, while Concordia Chicago is 3 of 7. As now Jaylene Wade is also in. Ray's now going to come out last second sub. And Wade, to me, is also kind of like a wild card because she may not pose as an offensive threat, but if she gets her shot going, that's another great dimension.
She is such a versatile guard, and she's a great shooter off the bench, and been a great addition to the Cougars team as a freshman, and she's really been a lot of the ball handling responsibilities throughout the season.
Robinson driving, had it lost on her own handle. That's out of bounds to the Falcons. So far for the Falcons, we talked about the scoreless draw, and it's, of course, a courtesy to the Cougars defense. You saw on your screen there, last 2.5 minutes, Falcons have not scored a bucket. Cougars trying to set a trap as poking that one from behind there was Long. Hastings gets the steal, and it's Wade pushing the floor with under 4 minutes to play in the first. Wade now for Robinson right side. In for Core. Robinson, we don't see her take threes often, and that one misses there, and Long saves it. And it is picked up by the Falcons and Cameron Shaliga. Shaliga now looking to go coast to coast. Shot no good, but a foul. Lauren Martin wanted to travel. You may have saw on the lower side of your screen there, but it'll be free throws nevertheless for Shaliga.
Just take a second and appreciate what Megan Long just did there. She is sneaky fast, really, as we've seen. She's really good with the speed. But the Falcons had the chance to enter the ball in the post, but because of the quick rotations by the Cougars, they blocked the vision and weren't able to allow themselves to rotate. And that's something that's been really exciting to see through the Cougars, is those rotations and the excitement on defense as the season's progressed.
It's now a 3-minute and 24-second scoring drop before that free throw was made. So it's back to a one-possession contest with 3.5 to play in our opening quarter. Wade now to Robinson, top circle. Hastings, and we get a foul. I think it was away from Hastings. And it's going to be on the Falcons and Kratt. And that's going to be Kratt's first, be the team's second. Cougars have 3 team fouls so far. Again, 5 puts the other in the double bonus. Again, fouls reset after each quarter as Hastings goes to the far side to get it. Long, driving in the lane, off the glass, no. And that's going to be a foul on Core trying to reach over for the rebound.
Right idea there by Core, but great positioning there by Shaliga, getting in front of her and using her body as a backside to box her out.
Thornton now is back in as Core comes out after having that foul on the reach over. Cougars 5-10 on the year. Falcons 9-6. Ball worked to the left side. It's staying that way as driving is Betcher, kick to the left corner. And now a baseline drive, but a violation the other way. There's going to be offensive 3 seconds.
One thing you're going to see a lot, as you just saw that the video clip right there from the sideline, is the energy that the Cougar bench has that Lauren Martin has really brought to the program. And with the combination with the Cougar Crazies, it's almost like a 6-man out there for the Cougars.
Robinson to Long. She's not afraid to shoot a 3, and that's why!
35% on the year. Megan Long, like I said, all the confidence in the world right there. She knew she had the open look and way to pull the trigger.
Ball inside the free throw line. Long tried to strip it away. Shot off the back iron and getting the friendly roll there off the front of the rim is Emily Haithman, the junior from Hales Corners, Wisconsin. Wade now to Long. Now it's to the right angle and Robinson. Approaching 2 minutes to play in our first quarter. 10-6 Cougars as Thornton drives off the glass, too strong. And the rebound to Shaliga. Cameron Shaliga. That is a whistle, and we get a foul on Wade. And Lauren Martin wanted an offensive foul. She's trying to plead her case to the officials there.
I see the case that she was calling right there, because you did see Shaliga use a little bit of the contact, but I think Wade kind of initiated it, so that's why it went against Wade.
And now that's 2 for Wade. So let's see if she's going to come out, and I believe she's going to. Sarah Ludwig is going to perhaps take her spot. If the free throw is made, I'd have to imagine that's when that sub is going to take place. Of course, you don't really want your player with 2 fouls staying out there that long in the first quarter to escape foul trouble. Still a 3-point lead for the Cougars. That free throw is good, as now Ludwig's going to come in for Wade. So Ludwig in and Wade out with 2 fouls. Wade exits, not attempting a shot yet. As Ludwig, who we just mentioned, has the control over to Thornton now. Michaela Thornton for Tara Hastings. Hastings to Long. Thornton with 10. Robinson into the paint. Pretty move, but can't finish. Falls to the floor, and the Falcons take control. Under 90 seconds to play in the quarter. As standing there defensively, affecting that one was Long. Ball still loose on the floor. Players tumble, and it's going to be a foul on Long. So more free throws as Annika Ray now is going to come in. And that's going to be on, I believe they got that on Long. They did officially. Saw her being the one for the Cougars that tumbled. So Robinson's now going to come out. as Ray is now in. First of 2 free throws here. This one's nothing but net for Cameron Shaliga, who's a 56% free throw shooter on the year. And she's now got 6 of the team's 9 first quarter points. And that one misses. Offensive rebound to Foster. Shot clock reset, they're up to 20. As Reagan Obrey is now in as well for the Falcons. Obrey with 10 on the shot clock. Shaliga with 5. Shaliga, lost her footing, stolen by Hastings. Here comes Tara, off the glass, no. Short on the shot, tie up, and it's a foul on Ray. And she's not happy because she thought she was just reaching in for the ball, trying to keep her composure there, and once again, Carter, more free throws.
And it's something that you got to deal with is you understand the aggressiveness and the energy, and even Coach Lauren Martin's up in the caught in it too. But you also have to remember the fouls, because the fouls will come and bite you later in the game.
Maddie McGrath now in as Sarah Ludwig comes out. Also, Cameron Kratt is back in to replace Caitlin Foster. And it looks like Charisma Robinson for the Cougars is going to come on in as well. And so she may come in at the next dead ball. She's still at the scorer's table. It's still a lead for the Cougars. And now it's tied. Robinson now is in. She's going to replace Long. While Aubrey Buchholz now comes in for the Falcons, replacing Cameron Shaliga, who deserved a rest. She's got 7 points, 4 rebounds to that first quarter. McGrath bounced over to Ray. She's going to go for the 3. Back rim, no. Thornton gets the offensive rebound for a moment, but then it's taken away. Trying to break ahead was Hafman, but had to slow down. Left wing 3 is up. That's way off. And that is picked up by Thornton. McGrath with a half-minute remaining to Thornton. And Lauren Martin wants a timeout because, again, we've talked about the energy and how loud it is in the Geisman Gymnasium, Carter. And I think that's going to be a battle, not of course just for the Falcons traveling here, but even for the Cougars, the home team here, technically.
Yeah, because if you get caught up in that energy in that moment, it can be really easy for you to get out of hand and start doing things you're not accustomed to. But credit to Coach Martin. You've seen them early. They got a little out of hand right now, so they're going to reset their offense and go back to what they did early on already, was running the set plays, and that's how they've been effective getting past the Falcons' defense.
Each team has only led by as much as one here for a while in this game, as with just under a half-minute remaining. Cougars led by as much as 6 a few minutes ago in the first. As now Hastings with 20 on the game clock. About 3 seconds separating shot clock to game clock. It's about 3 seconds less on the shot clock compared to what you see on your screen with the game clock. Thornton now with 10 overall, 6 on the shot clock. Thornton driving, shot, no, but she's fouled, and she runs into the Falcons mascot, actually. But she'll be at the line for a pair.
You can see Thornton, though, really nice job sizing up the defender and using quick off the dribble on the crossover and going up, even with contact. And you've mentioned it plenty of times before when she ran into the Falcon mascot. That area over there behind the south end of the gym with that basket, that's a dangerous spot because the bleachers are coming out and there's so many people crowded in that area.
Kayla Cola now checks in as Annika Ray comes to the bench. With 6 seconds on the clock as Thornton misses the first free throw.
And free throws have really been the tail of this team when it's come to close games. It's been something that they've struggled with. Credit to them, though. They've turned it around, but it's a different environment right now with what's going on.
That shot missed, and the buzzer went off, and I don't know why. Sarah Ludwig is set to come on in, and both teams are just going to go to their respective benches for the time being. I don't know. May have just had a clock miscue.
I think they're going to check something with the book, checking the fouls right now.
Right now we have it as 17 fouls overall for CUC, 3 for the Falcons. as the Cameron Crazies. You get a look at the man on the right side of your screen there, Jim Egan, above the Cougars huddle. He just got his own Cameron Crazies chant. And we're going to get a technical foul on at the table? So because I believe of the clock miscue and the horn buzzing disrupting play, the officials have no choice but to assess a technical. That technical missed, though, off the first of two. Second one is good, though. Boy, you mentioned the CIT can bring it all, and I don't think I've ever seen a technical foul issued at the scores table.
We've seen a fan ejection already.
Yep.
We've seen several charge calls. We've seen, I think, several 10-second violations in the backcourt. That's the first I've ever seen of a technical given to the scores table.
Wow. Either way, baseball pass up ahead. It's going to work, though, over to Hafman with 4 to go. Floater shot is short. Second chance putback doesn't work either as the first quarter comes to an end. Well, it was a weird way to end the first quarter, but it's the Falcons with a 1-point lead. And, well, I mean, your first quarter thoughts, because that kind of took everybody out of rhythm there after that little clock miscommunication.
It's one of those things that kind of puts a little bump in the road. So it was kind of weird because the energy was in favor of CUC. Then all of a sudden, we got a technical on the scores table. So it's kind of weird. But weird is what's been going on today, and weird is what Geisman is anyway.
Yep.
So it's going to be important to see how the Cougars in this huddle coming out into the second quarter are going to respond to that and really try to revamp their offense again.
Fans, as a reminder, Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Concordia University Chicago Athletics. Whether it is breakfast, lunch, or dinner, Chick-fil-A in Melrose Park has you covered. And I mean, your first quarter impressions from the side of the Cougars, Carter.
Well, it's been a pretty impressive game already. We saw how fast the Cougars were going. I mean, they've been doing a fantastic job. Looking at the box score already, you've seen that Annika Reyes got 2 points. Tara Hastings with the big 3 to open up, as well as Megan Long. So it's a pretty collective effort on both sides for the Cougars. Now looking at the Falcons side, some things that have got to be taken into account is that they're only shooting 2 of 12 from the field. It's not a fantastic odd right now. Credit to the Concordia defense. Now it's just going to make sure that they keep it going throughout the game.
So I did get a confirmation as to what happened with that technical. So we mentioned Kayla Kohler into the game, correct? And she had that foul with 6 seconds to go. There was a technical issue to Concordia Chicago because she officially was not into the stats book courtside, so that's an automatic technical and free throws for the opponent.
Gotcha.
Boy, that is
something that's weird that you usually don't see in a game.
And there's something weird right there, a Tara Hastings turnover. As we begin this second quarter of play. Chambers, as that one got off to Shaliga, but she lost it off herself out of bounds. It's Cougars ball. I want to thank Alexa Lomentini, who's helped out with our baseball broadcast and some of our basketball coverage as well, for coming up to the table to clarify that one for us. I mean, I know we've seen technicals issued prior to games because of any miscues with rosters and all that, but I've never seen one where the player wasn't in the book.
No, and it's something that's just weird, but you know what? Move past it right now, and Cougars are on a new phase.
Hastings with a Euro step inside, was short on the shot, as the rebound is there, controlled by Krapp. Krapp, bounce pass, left arc 3. That's off the back rim, no good there from Betcher, and Robinson the rebound. Well, the offenses have really slowed down. Even though the Falcons are on a 7-0 run, they're only shooting 2 of 13 from the field, but they're 7 of 12 at the line. Core missing the shot there.
So that's 3 layups for the Cougars that have been really great looks. It's just a little bit too much off the backboard, but nothing to be worried about because those are great looks either way.
Hafman, right corner. That's a 3 for Chambers. That's short, and the rebound to Core. And now the Falcons are 0 of 6, or rather 0 of 5, from downtown, while Concordia Chicago is 2 of 6. And officially, in terms of that technical foul that we had towards the end of the first quarter, it's ruled as an administrative technical. As Robinson inside left area gets the friendly roll off the rim.
Get the friendly roll indeed. Rewarded for the contact she just enjoyed right there, but great job staying strong. It's something that's really her strong suit when she goes into the post on the layup.
Thornton's going to get called for that one. That's a little bit of a late whistle, but they're going to get Thornton on the push in trying to go for the steal, as Ray now will come on in. In addition to that, Foster and Smitsdorf for the Falcons. So Betcher will inbound this right in front of the Concordia Chicago bench as we have 8 minutes to go here in the first half. 12-11 our score. A tightly contested one, but it's something we expected. Foster. Oh, and a nice back cut in and off the glass, and scoring is Clara Chambers.
And that's one thing that you see when you get an over-aggressive defense or you rotate too much and you don't communicate. That's what happens, and Chambers found the bottom.
Ray, wanted to step in for through. This gym was ready to go nuts if that was made. As now it's Chambers over to Foster, far side. Foster shooting 43% on the season, 32 from downtown. Averaging just under 9 points a game, is a senior from Janesville, Wisconsin. They try to work it out again, and that's picked up and stolen by Hastings once again. Pass over to Ray. Tiptoed that baseline to stay inbounds. And now they'll settle it down. And Carter, you've talked about this team going into their set plays rather than trying to go fast in transition, and they're trying to do that once again here.
And another thing, too, Michaela Thornton's the point guard right now. We usually don't see that.
Oh, and she tried to put emphasis on point in point guard. Couldn't make the shot there as the Falcons get the rebound, and Chambers brings it ahead. Hafman, left hand dribble, trying to bounce it in. Somehow gets it there to Smitsdorf through all those bodies inside. Either way, Cougars come away with it. Robinson, inside, steps around the defender. Ooh, can't finish the shot. And Robinson's a little gimpy with her left leg. We'll keep an eye on that. As now to the right corner, it's over to Chambers. Now to Foster on the baseline. Foster off the glass, no. Tip back out and over to Robinson, who secures it. Pass, wanted to find Hastings, but that's a little weak in the power category on the pass because Hastings was in the fast break for herself.
Annika Ray also, too, shaking up, looking at her eye. Looks like she got bumped in the eye in that last possession, too.
And now a little bit of a bailout as the Falcons turn that one over. Steinkamp now comes in as Ray. You mentioned Carter, she may have got poked in the left eye. She may go get that looked at.
Before that, though, she really did a good job, though, of making sure she's not closing out on the defender because you got a pump fake there. She really closed out and wasn't too alarmed at what was coming, and that's just shuffling your feet and getting in front of the defender. But like you mentioned, she just came out, so hopefully we see her back in the game soon.
She's getting checked out by the medical staff. Yeah, it looks like it was her eye that was perhaps poked up, maybe the eyelid even, as Ludwig now to Hastings. Thornton steps back, over now to Steinkamp right side. 18 on the shot clock. Steinkamp into the paint, spins it out to Core. Now it's Hastings, 4-3. That's short, and that one is tipped, and keeping that one in nicely there with Smitsdorf. Foster to the left side, 5.5 to play. Foster spinning away, and that may have been blocked by Core. Either way, great defense.
You see, she didn't come over the top with her arms. She kept them straight up and just moved her feet. That's all you got to do not to get a foul.
She did not get credit for the block there, just the rebound, and we'll give her good defense. I know that's not something you put on the stat book, but we said it. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the half. Ludwig finds the center lane in the paint. Players tripped up everywhere, and that's a foul on Ludwig? For what?
For being on the ground.
I don't know how you call that a foul.
It's, well, if you want to get into...
I'm going to respectfully disagree with that one. I don't like to obviously, the officiating, if it's good or bad, but, I mean, what did you want her to do there?
Also, too, if you look in the book, it's 9-3. Cougars have 9 personal fouls right now to the Falcons 3. So that's a little lopsided. Maybe Coach Martin's going to mention something because she's already had before.
Well, she may want to mention some three-point defense as well, as Hannah Betcher drains that one. And it's now a 4-point lead for the Falcons. And it's because of this three-pointer in the left corner by Hannah Betcher, who is a 38% three-point shooter. timeout called on the floor, called by the Cougars. It was just a 30-second timeout. 4:43 to go. Alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fay with you again. Our great crew working up in the, do you want to call that the dungeon above us, Carter? Or
I don't even know what you call it.
The VIP room, maybe? Shelby Spitz and Julia Beers are in there producing and doing graphics and replays, and of course our director CJ Sellner's in there as well. And our camera operators out here with us in the gym, Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, Julia Spitelli, and Kelly Goody. Core, long two from the baseline, that's no good. And the rebound controlled by Betcher. It's Kratt to the left side, guarded by Robinson. Kratt. Pass inside, shot up off the glass. Doesn't get the roll there for Smitsdorf. Ball is loose, and then picked up by Betcher. Well, the Cougars had that one too, and that one slipped away. 4 minutes to go in the half. Buchholz at the top, guarded by Hastings. You see the size mismatch there in height. As Foster getting a screen. She pulls up for three. Back iron, no. Off the rim again. Robinson wrestling that rebound away.
You see, she wanted that one. She ripped it out of the hands right there, and that's why she's the leading rebounder for the Cougars.
Way to reset at the top as we approach 3.5 to play. Mikhail Thoring set to come in at the next dead ball. Hastings, that pass to her was tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Cougars. Chambers and Hafman back in, along with Thornton as mentioned. Ludwig comes out for CUC as Smitsdorf and Kratt come out for the Falcons. It is near standing room only inside the Geisman Gymnasium as Wade pulls up for three. That's in and out. No. Core the offensive rebound. Count it! And the foul! Crystal Core to the line.
We talked about Wade getting the open looks right there, but Crystal Core, who missed so much at the beginning of the season, you see how effective she is. See the play off the ball, great look there by Wade, but you just see Core coming in and then avoid and getting the contact. So strong, and that's some senior leadership in the post that the Cougars desperately needed.
The and one is good for Core. So she's got 3 points now, along with the 4 rebounds. As now Megan Long comes back in.
We talked about this throughout the year too. The momentum shifts that this team experiences. All it needs is a little bit of go and a little bit of energy. In this place, this team is going to go crazy. And this is something that's been true throughout the season. But if they get that chance again tonight, this place is going to push them over the edge.
And what a tone it would set for our final game in the men's action between these Falcons and Cougars. Left corner, Betcher. Wanted to drive for a moment as there's 10 on the shot clock. Swing pass to the far side for Foster. Now over to Buchholz. That long two is up, no good. Offensive rebound, no. On the original shot attempt from Hafman. And a wrestling match for the ball. And what do we have here? Jump ball called. Arrow stays with the Falcons. But the Cougar Crazy is showing their appreciation for Long, hustling for that one.
They call her Megatron as her nickname. And you can see right there the big body getting in there and fighting for the ball. Doing the little things is what's going to keep the Cougars in this game tonight, especially as the inexperience compared to the Falcons.
Long, the 5'7" freshman, one of 10 freshmen on this team. From Dyer, Indiana, a product of Lake Central High School from the Hoosier State. Chambers wheeling in the paint, but is fouled by Hastings. So Chambers at the line for 2, averaging 12.5 points a game this season. A 75% free throw shooter on the year. She's 1 for 2 tonight. And makes the first one there. She's now got 4 points. Concordia Chicago had a lead by as much as 6. While the Falcons led by as much as 4, and it's now a 3-point lead after those 2 made free throws by Chambers.
And we're going to be seeing lead changes throughout the night, I believe, just because of the swing of the game and the environment that it's in.
Thornton to the far angle. As Long, aggressive. Can't get the shot to fall, though. And the rebound by Chambers. Nice look at it, though, nevertheless, as Wade had it poked off her fingers last. It'll stay with CUW. As the ball inbounded here for the Falcons in front of the Cougars bench, under 2.5 to play in the half. A tightly contested first half of play. I don't know how that's not a walk, but we'll move on. 15 on the shot clock. Because you even almost saw her stop play because she almost thought she got caught. Inside, travel, or a charge too, why not?
Megan Long slamming the floor and running down the court because she's been so good at that really throughout the year. Even though it's not in the stat book, she has been, I think, from what I've seen, probably the leader in charges taken on this Cougars team.
Cameron Cratnow back in for the Falcons as Caitlin Foster comes on out. Wade into the front court as we approach 2 minutes to play. It's a one-possession game. Hastings on the drive, short, and the rebound controlled by Buchholz. And that one, wisely, give credit to the sophomore. They're hitting that off of Hastings to basically reset that possession.
That's a smart move by the sophomore, number 44, Aubrey Buchholz. That's something that's pretty experienced and too. Not avoiding the pressure, but looks like it's bottom come back too.
Wade will get it back, and Long poking that away along with Hastings staying in the backcourt there. So that was a bailout to a degree after that missed shot is Wade. For Long, driving baseline to Robinson. Robinson, a wild shot, missed everything. No call, we play on, under 90 seconds to go in the second. Betcher with control, guarded by Thornton. Over to Kraft, and now Betcher at the top, 15 on the shot clock. Betcher for Buchholz with 9. To the far side, Hafman, but she's fouled. Foul's gonna go on Robinson, and that'll be her first. Cameron Shaliga now will come on in, along with Annika Ray. Ray comes in with a couple of points and a couple of rebounds on top of 8 minutes played so far, as Maddie McGrath also comes in for Megan Long, who I think may deserve the biggest ovation of the Cougars in that first half.
She might have not been in the stat book as much as we want in point-wise and lighting it up, but the little things that she did on defense and the jump ball and the charge, that really is something that you love to see from a player.
That free throw is Smith. You mentioned, not Long in the score, but the only player with more points than Megan Long is Charisma Robinson, who's got 4, and Long has 3. As that free throw there is good. It's now a 4-point lead, as we approach a minute to go in the half. And a whistle and a timeout called by Concordia Chicago. It's going to be a full timeout. We'll still keep it here, though. And while we have a moment, fans, Cougar Basketball is brought to you in part by Lutheran Public Radio. Listen to sacred music anytime and anywhere at lutheranpublicradio.org or on the LPR app. And whether it's close or far, Chicago Motor Coach has your group transportation needs covered. Chicago Motor Coach is proud to be the official transportation provider of CUC Athletics. And if you know this program well enough in this university, if you're ever looking for a big place to relax and have some fun following a big Cougar victory, head on over to Doc Ryan's on Madison Street. Players were just over there the other night as well, along with the great coaching staff and some of the other alums in attendance, as Doc Ryan's on Madison Street has all of your post-game needs covered. Well, trying to stay in coverage here, down by 4 other Cougars as we have exactly a minute to go. What's the staple you want to see from this Cougars team in the final 60 seconds?
I think the one thing is possession is going to be key right here. It's making sure that they get a quality shot out of here. Also, too, just don't commit any dumb fouls by the end of this quarter, too, because we've already seen the quarters and the fouls, 11 and 5, with the Cougars having the most of that. It's been an aggressive game, but the Cougars have done a really good job so far of staying composed, and they just got to keep doing that if they want to stay in it.
A 4-point ball game. Hastings will inbound over to Wade. Wade to the right. Stops to McGrath. Now it's Robinson on the corner. That one hit off looked like the knee there of Shaliga. Cougars will inbound, 13 on the shot clock, 47.8 remaining on the game clock. Wade with 10. McGrath to Hastings. McGrath, that's a long-range 3 if it goes, and it does! And it's back to a 1-point game.
19% from behind the arc this year for McGrath, but you could see the poise she had and the confidence in that shot.
Oh, and a pretty spin move inside Cameron Krapp. Back to a 3-point game. Shot clock turned off.
You could hear the silence already coming through Geisman Gymnasium.
And the tension rising with 10 to go. Can Wade try to tie it perhaps? Ray on an awkward angle off the glass, no good, but that is how the first half comes to an end. But an exciting first half nevertheless. It's only a one-possession game as the Falcons have a 21-18 lead going into the locker room. And as we take our halftime break, we have a special halftime presentation for you, as this has been put together by the great Concordia University of Chicago staff celebrating 60 years of women's athletics.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will begin our halftime entertainment with the dance team from Concordia, Wisconsin. Concordia, Wisconsin dance team. Thank you very much, ladies. And now let's bring on the dance team for Concordia University, Chicago.
Voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Ooh, you say I'm loved when I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong when I think I'm weak. And you say I'm held when I'm falling short. And when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours. And I believe, oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe.
Concordia Chicago dance team, thank you, ladies. And again, we want to remind everyone, 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, be here for the 3rd annual CIT Cheer and Dance Competition. Promises to be a great time. And now, at this time, we would ask all Concordia Chicago women who have been associated with Cougar Athletics, past or present, to please make their way down onto the basketball court and be recognized. All Concordia women's athletics, not just basketball, any of our women's sports. Ladies and gentlemen, 60 years ago, during the 1959-1960 academic year, Concordia Teachers College first offered women the opportunity for athletic competition against other schools, otherwise known as extramural competition. That first year offered competition in badminton, basketball, field hockey, softball, tennis, and volleyball, with about 75 female athletes taking part. Over the years, through the passage of Title IX in 1972, and later the growth of NCAA Division III in the early 80s, other women's sports became part of the Concordia landscape, including gymnastics, track and field, cross country, soccer, and most recently in 2016, lacrosse. Cheer and dance have also opened up opportunities through their evolution into competitive programs, as we shall see an example of tomorrow morning. Concordia University Chicago is proud of its many women student athletes, whether they were known as kittens, Cougarettes or Cougars. They have included 2 academic All-Americans, a Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Woman of the Year, a softball All-American, and 10 track and field All-Americans, most of those in just the last 2 years. In addition, 34 women athletes, coaches, and support staff have been inducted into the Concordia Chicago Athletics Hall of Fame since 2002. And nearly 700 have been honored as Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference Scholar Athletes since 2006. Let us thank all of these students, coaches, and administrators, past and present, for their numerous contributions to 60 years of Concordia Chicago women's athletics. Now we would like to get just a few more pictures. We'd like to thank our current student athletes for bringing out this brand new banner. Kristen Landon, Sam Goodlett, Shelby Spitz, and Deja Sarton. We thank all of our women's athletes that are here tonight. Again, for your many contributions over the years. And let's look forward to at least 60 more years of Concordia Cougar women's athletics. Go Cougars!
And as we come back here, how about that? A nice special ceremony and, of course, a special congratulations all around. And, of course, thank you to all the women as well here at CUC for having the 60 years of women's athletics here in River Forest, Illinois. Obviously cannot thank them enough because, you know, without all of them, there really isn't what happens here at Concordia Chicago, too.
And there's really nothing, without them, there's nothing for us to do either. We're not here if they're not here doing the sports. So thank you to all the women that have played whatever sport at CUC over the last 60 years. You've truly made this school an amazing place and have given Ryan and I the opportunity to bring coverage and joy to you as well.
Yeah, this game, as we get through one half of play, you take a look at some of the stats through one half of play, Carter, and there's a couple numbers that really jumped out to you, specifically in that second quarter.
Well, one thing that we looked at in general, just overall, both teams aren't particularly shooting the ball as well. In that second quarter, the Falcons were only 3 of 12 from the field, and the Cougars were 3 of 15. So not anything, no sharpshooters out there right now. But just looking in general, overall, the Cougars are 1 of 3 from the free throw line, and the Falcons are 10 of 16. And that's partially because the Cougars have committed 11 personal fouls. And that's something that's going to be key to watch throughout the rest of the game, is if the fouls come into effect. We've already seen the Falcons are a good free throw shooting team, and it's going to be something that separates the good from the great teams tonight.
And with that being said, though, as we wind down the final 90 seconds of play, another thing that you and I had talked about is turnovers as well for Concordia Chicago. They only have 8 there, as you just saw on your screen, as it's a much more disciplined first half than some of the first halves that we've been accustomed to seeing during the season so far.
And it's a more disciplined offense. You see, like we mentioned so many times, they're not running the fast break and they're not trying to overwhelm the Falcons with pushing the speed. They are when they need to, when they get a good steal in transition, but they're really just working a set offense and set plays because they've realized the Falcons can get in out of sort on the defensive side if they're able to work the shot clock and work the ball in a motion offense.
So with that, it's a 21-18 lead for the Concordia, Wisconsin Falcons. The winner takes on the Lady Bulldogs of Concordia, Nebraska tomorrow night. And of course, what's crazy to think is we got one more game after this.
And that one's going to be insane too. I mean, you think this is fast-paced already, you're going to be in for a treat because the Cougars, for the men Cougars, have been absolutely phenomenal at pushing play in a high-scoring offense that's really been tough to defend.
And Zio Golding and Rashawn Amos, just a couple of guys on the team that can really help push the floor as the Cougars huddle is about to break up, led by head coach Lauren Martin. As the Falcons out back on the floor, they have out there their starters in Foster, Betcher, Shaliga, Chambers, and Hafman. While for Concordia Chicago, you've got Robinson, Hastings, Ray, Steinkamp, and Thornton. Cougars will have the ball. They'll go right to left, Falcons left to right, Cougars in the white, Falcons in the blue. And as we get set for this third quarter of action, Thornton will have the inbound, and off we go.
Something that we looked at, because we've talked about how the last game between these two 10 days ago, in the first half at the end of the game 10 days ago, it was 32-23 CUW. If we look at the end of the game that ended 81-47, the Falcons scored 49 points to the Cougars 24. So definitely the second half has been a part of the season where the Cougars have struggled. So look for them to stay strong today, especially with the extra support from the Cougar Crazies.
Thornton there with the nice read inside as she steals that one away. Steinkamp stops on a dime, and we'll leave it off for Hastings at the top. 20 on the shot clock. To Thornton, who will settle it down and reset. Tight defense being shown by Clara Chambers. As Thornton with 10 on the shot clock. Thornton, who thought about pulling up for three, actually, as Robinson traveled. So an early miscue there from Robinson gives the Falcons the ball back, with it still being a three-point game. Chambers to the left side for Shaliga. And a nice feed that's stolen by Ray, who pushes it up. But it's tipped up as it was going towards Robinson. Falcons come the other way, and a foul on Ray as Hafman was trying to go up for the shot.
You see the right idea there, though, by Ray. She was on the backside help in there, and that's why she got this steal. But just trying to push it a little too much with too many blue jerseys around, cost them the turnover, and now the foul for the Falcons to go to the free throw line.
And a 30-second timeout call by Lauren Martin and the Cougars, as she wants her team to perhaps maybe hit another reset button coming out of the gates here, just a minute and 23 in. And obviously with a timeout being called this early in the quarter, you obviously have to think at that point that something on the bench side of the Cougars they didn't like right away.
No, and it happens all the time. Both teams make adjustments at the half. Now it's just taking the time and really slowing down to read the defense and really working the offense too, because we've seen plenty of times the Cougars defense has been really aggressive and been able to read the Falcons and have been able to digest their defense as well. Now it's just putting it all together with the composed and calm and also being just smart and taking care of the ball.
Emily Hafman at the line. She's got 4 points, 2 of them at the free throw line already. Misses the first. She's a 68% free throw shooter on the season. The junior from Hales Corners, Wisconsin. She had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists in the last contest against the Cougars on January 14th. Makes that one there. She's 4th in the NAC in field goal percentage, 2nd from behind the three-point line too. So to the credit as well of the Cougars, they have limited her opportunities as well so far. As Wade has it over to Robinson right side. Robinson kind of using the back of the defender, can't finish on the shot. Robinson is going to save it. Boy, the Falcons look like they quit on the play, and Thornton, who almost made him pay for a 2 as well.
You see the Falcons defender there just seeing that they're going to let the ball out, but the hustle by Robinson just to keep it in play. Just an extra push is going to be something critical for the Cougars.
Foster at the top, guarded by Hastings as we approach 8 minutes to play in the third. Shaliga at the left side. 8 on the shot clock for Foster. Hafman, that's a 3. That's no good, and the rebound picked up and having it blocked out of bounds as Thornton got a hand on it. Shot clock at 19.
And the Cougars got really lucky there because Thornton, without that block, you would have seen 2 Falcons with just Thornton, and that's something that the Cougars just got to remind. The shot goes up, go find someone to box out because that's where the second chance points comes in off the missed rebounds.
And a bit of a block there as well. Good defense from Thornton, getting her arm in the way as Ray comes up with it. Wade at the free throw line. Left angle. That's a three. That's short. Offensive rebound, Hastings. Inside, trying to go Brady off the right side. Misses, but she's fouled and she'll be at the line.
Hastings is tied for the smallest player on all rosters in this tournament, standing at only 5'3", but you can see the heart over height really by Hastings, getting in there and doing the dirty work and getting that rebound.
Crystal Cornell back in as Thornton comes out. Hastings at the line. This will be the first time she's at the line tonight. She's got 3 points, a rebound, an assist, and a steal so far in 22 minutes of action. Makes the first. She's an 83% free throw shooter, now at 84 because she was at 83.9, so now that'll put you in the 84 percentile. And she'll stay that way as well after going 2 of 2. And it's a 2-point game courtesy of number 2. Now I've ran out of twos to rattle off there. Deuces were wild for about 5 seconds for me as this one shot missed. Oh, there you go, number 2, Hastings, the rebound.
Great job there by Crystal Core, working and just flying out to stop the ball.
Oh, and Robinson, took an awkward fall. No call, and that's, she's holding her left shoulder. Hastings takes a tumble as well. Now to the right side, 3-ball up. That's no good off the hands of Chambers, and the rebound to Core. And Robinson is holding that left shoulder still. She's trying to tough it out, though, as Wade goes over to Hastings. That's deflected off the hands there of Pratt, as Long now is going to come in for Robinson, probably to get that left shoulder perhaps looked at. And that would be something to really keep an eye on if Robinson has to miss some time here in the second half.
She's really been the lockdown defender that we've seen throughout the season. She's the one that Coach Martin can put on the ball and say, you're going to go stop the best player for whatever team.
Core inside, around the paint, no good on the shot. As Buchholz brings it ahead to Foster on the right side. Inside as Ray got aggressive defensively, Hafman makes her pay. Back to a 4-point lead, biggest lead now for the Falcons tonight. As Wade, coast to coast, off the glass short, and the rebound to Chambers. Betcher with control around the screen, goes to Foster. Betcher resets now at the top, 15 on the shot clock as we approach 6 minutes to go in the third. Right corner, pass inside, off the glass, too strong there from Hafman, and the rebound controlled by the Cougars. Wade for Ray, who wanted a 3, but probably thought better of it. Hastings with 15 on the shot clock. Wade with 7. Wade for Ray. 3-ball, in and out, no, off the rimming glass as the Falcons now take control. Pratt looks to go inside, finds Hafman around a couple of defenders, short on the shot, rebound to Ray. And that's now a stretch for the Falcons, who are 1 of 8 in their last 8 shots. And the Cougars, meanwhile, have been scoreless the last 2 minutes and some change. Long, into the paint, offensive foul, that's a charge.
And you can see there Long trying to get the offense going, but it was kind of hard because that's one thing that when you charge head down in the paint, you don't look up and you can't see any Falcon defender that's set up possibly for a charge.
5 Cougars players with 2 fouls. Thornton, Ray, Core, Wade, and Long all have 2 fouls. Under 5 to go here in the third quarter. Foster to the far side. Guarded by Maddie McGrath, who just checked in a moment ago. Inside, Pratt, shot short. Ball still loose, and it's a foul that's going to go the other way. That's going to be on Cameron Pratt. And that's going to be her second. So both teams with 2 team fouls this quarter so far. 13 team fouls overall for the Cougars, only 7 for the Falcons. Wade now over to Hastings left side. Core, tough angle shot, but she's fouled. She'll be at the line.
You see in there Shaliga just putting her hands up like, what do you do? But you see that Core was able, one thing that she's really been working the whole night is that kind of body back, fake reverse move, and then going up with almost like a semi-hook shot to go off the backboard. Got called for the foul there with Shaliga.
Core makes the first. She's now 2 of 2 at the line. 4 points, 5 rebounds for her. On 1 of 4 shooting in 12 minutes of action thus far. Misses there. Rebound to Reagan Obrey, who's now in for the Falcons. Betcher to the far side, covered by Hastings, or rather, it's Betcher with control, excuse me. Foster's on the near wing. Shaliga has it. Guarded by Core, 12 on the shot clock. That one poked off by Hastings, who tried to get a hand in there for a steal, but it's off of Hastings last. As Lindsay Smitsdorf, the freshman, now comes on in for the sophomore Cameron Shaliga. Cameron Shaliga now comes out with 7 points and 5 rebounds. Getting a hand on that for a moment was Core. Now to the right side for Obrey. 4 on the shot clock. They get inside, and that one blocked away by Long. She comes away with it. She'll continue across the floor. And now over to Hastings to settle it down. It's McGrath. The Cougar crazy is getting loud again. Hastings. Free throw line jumper, that's short, and Lauren Martin is begging for that one to say that was blocked out of bounds. She gets the call though, 6 on the shot clock. McGrath will inbound. There you get a look at Lauren Martin right there, trying to call out the offense on the floor. And now we're all set and ready to go. Up now to Long. Long for Core. That's a long 2. That's off the rim twice, no good, and the rebound taken by Smitsdorf. Betcher. Right side in the paint. That is a foul on Long. And that's Long's 3rd. As now Clara Chambers comes in for Cameron Krapp, and Sarah Ludwig's now going to come in for Megan Long, who just picked up her 3rd. And good to see Charisma Robinson back out there. We hadn't seen her for a good almost 3 minutes of play there, Carter, after that shoulder injury she had.
No, but that's a huge thing that the Cougars needed back. She's going to be huge on the defensive side, as we've already seen that the Falcons were able to start to penetrate the paint a little bit more since her absence.
And that was also a shooting foul, so that's the first of 2 free throws made by Hannah Betcher, who is perfect on the season at the line. And she makes that first one there. She's got one more. And it's good. Shaliga now comes back in for Smitsdorf. Smitsdorf 0 of 5 from the field, but has 6 rebounds. And she's been trying to give Thornton fits inside so far tonight. As now Robinson will bring it ahead as we approach 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. Wade, 18 on the shot clock. McGrath. McGrath for Wade. Driving in the paint, hook shot, no good. Rebound to Chambers. And that's now the 8th rebound for Chambers. Is this quick pass up ahead? Shot up off the glass and good for Shaliga inside.
It's going to be important now for the Cougars. They're starting to see a little bit of tail away in the lead. They got to just stay calm and just stay collected, run the offense.
And staying collected, there was Robinson, but she can't finish the layup. And that is an offensive foul on Shaliga. So a gift there for the Cougars as Thornton now comes back in for McGrath. And that's going to be the third. And you look at this number right here, Carter, for Concordia Chicago, 1 of 16 on their last field goal attempts.
But look at it too, like the shots that they're taking, they're all faded away from the basket. They're not set shots, not what we saw from the Cougars in the first half, where they were able to run the offense and get quality shots just by moving the ball.
Thornton. Now to Robinson. Robinson muscling her way in. She's fouled. And that's another foul on Shaliga, and that's her fourth. We saw her come out earlier in this corner because of the foul trouble, and just to give her a breather on top of it, that's her fourth. She's now going to really have to come on. Now the question is, how long does she stay out, as in her place now is Emily Hafman.
Well, she's the leading scorer right now if you're the Falcons. She also has 6 rebounds, so she's been a huge factor in this game. So something that the Cougars have to take advantage of with the last 2 minutes, because she probably will stay out for the rest of the quarter. And then, like you said, how long is she going to stay out is the question.
In and out on the free throw for Robinson, who's a 47% free throw shooter on the year. She's got 4 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, and a block. And we've got a stoppage of play. I don't know what occurred. Both teams are at their bench. I don't know if something happened in the crowd. I mean, I know we're not going to show this, but something I think happened in the crowd, and that's why we have this stoppage of play, but I'm not seeing anything with anybody security-wise. As you get a look at the CUW student section that's made the trip.
Looks like there's a fan or something that AD's over there right now trying to figure it out, but someone said something that
I think there may have just been maybe some magic words that were said that the official didn't like. And again, we know they're the Cougar Crazies for a reason, but of course you obviously want to be respectful to all the participants and officials out there.
Maybe like the Cubs with that 11-minute rain delay in 2016, maybe this is the thing that's going to get the Cougars back in this one right here with 2:09 remaining in the third quarter. As we're still waiting.
And the thing is, I don't think that whoever did something in the crowd, they're not going to continue play until this person is removed. So now this becomes now this just doesn't become a good look. Again, 2:09 to go here in the third if you're just joining us. As now the Cougar Crazies are going nuts again. So whatever happened, the participants have now been removed from the gymnasium here in Geisman, but now we'll get back to game play. So Robinson now back at the line for her second free throw. Maybe that breather helped her. She makes it.
I'm going to write this down. 2:09 in the third quarter.
Foster. Over to Chambers, far side. Almost facing a double team as Foster. Gets through to the right side for Aubry. Reagan Aubry. Travel. So with the Aubry travel, Cougars get the ball down by 6, 1:55 to go in the third. Boy, every possession now feels like must, and we still got a whole quarter to go.
It does, but you can see that it feels like that, and that's probably just because of the atmosphere. It's only a 2-possession ball game if you look at it, and 2 quick threes, which we know the Cougars can hit. It's something that's not out of the question here. It's just running the offense and going back with successful.
No, that's way off by Hastings, as that's going to go out of bounds. The step-back 3 doesn't work.
It's almost like we've seen the Cougars try to force more shots that have not needed to be taken. And looking at the stats right now, 1 is 17 from their last 17 possessions now. It's something that you don't think about in the game. You know you've been missing a lot of shots, but you just got to go back to basics.
That is a blocking foul on Hastings. I also think Chambers may have gotten away with a little arm separation to separate the contact too.
It did look like there was a little separation, but again, if you're looking at it from a referee standpoint, Hastings did kind of initiate the contact, so you can't really judge the call there. It's kind of a 50-50, but oh well, you move on to the next play.
Hafman inside, and Hafman scores. And it's now an 8-point Falcons lead, their biggest of the night. Robinson with a lot of space inside, off the glass and in.
And that's just Robinson being a quick guard, and she knows what she wants. She sees the open lane there, and she just took it. She didn't want to set up the offense because she knows it hasn't been the thing that's going right now for the Cougars.
And Hastings with the reach in there. That's her third. We'll see what Lauren Marr wants to do here with her with 53 seconds remaining, as now looks like Michaela Tilton's going to come in place of Hastings, and she does.
And now we're back at the point again at the end of the quarter where fouls have come into play and the Falcons are at the free throw line. That's something we mentioned at the half that they've been so good at, and it's something that the Cougars can't let them do around the rest of the game.
That free throw is good. Again, double bonus here in effect for both sides for the remainder of the quarter, I should say. Betcher is 1 of 3 for 3 at the line, now 4 of 4. Steinkamp now comes in for Ludwig. Thornton inbounds to Wade. Thornton with 20 on the shot clock. Robinson trying to do a little ground ball style pass over to the right side for Tilton, but that's out of bounds, tipped out.
Something about Tilton in that last game against Alverno they just played. She went 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. So she definitely a little sneaky advantage here. If she can get the ball in the corner, she might be able to pop one and get the Cougars back some more energy here.
Wade, 6 on the shot clock for Thornton. They work it to Tilton, and Carter just called about it. And Robinson, though, gets it off at the buzzer on the shot clock.
Staying with it is important, and you see there Robinson not giving up on the play.
Shot clock off, 11 to go in the third. Final seconds ticking down. Left corner, Chambers, 3, back rim, no. Offensive rebound, and Foster is fouled, and she'll be at the line for more free throws.
And you see there that's Foster just getting in front of Tilton. It's something that we haven't seen it seems that the Cougars haven't been doing as well as they did in the first half, is boxing out and getting in front and getting in good rebound position, almost trying to play the bounce there instead of trying to play the man and prevent them from getting the ball.
Tilton now comes on out. Core comes in with 1.2 seconds remaining here in the third. Foster, in and out on the first. That's her first free throw taken tonight. She's a 73% free throw shooter on the season. The senior from Janesville, Wisconsin. She has yet to register a point tonight until now. Baseball style pass ahead. Thornton gets it at the buzzer. Oh, off the side of the glass, but not a bad look though. Off a great pass from Robinson, but that's how the third quarter comes to an end. Work to be done for the Cougars, down by 7, 33-26. But I think the bonus here that we've seen out on the floor coming back after middle of that third quarter, Robinson goes out with a bit of a shoulder injury, comes back with just over 3 minutes to go in said quarter, and well, that sparks them back to a degree.
It does, and that's a good thing that Robinson's back in there, because with your key players in, it's always nice because you have that reliable spark here too. But something we mentioned too on the Wisconsin side, You got Cameron Shaliga out with four fouls right now, so that's something that they might be able to take advantage of if they're the Cougars, because one more, she's out of the game.
So in that third quarter, Concordia Chicago only 2 of 15 from the field, but however for Concordia Wisconsin, it's not any better, 3 of 13, but the difference so far is them making their free throws and getting to the line.
And that's the thing, if you're in the Cougars right now, you played 3 quarters of basketball, you know that these officials are going to be physical, but at the same time, they're not going to let it get out of hand. So you have to, one, tone it back a little bit on the contact, but maybe even spark that a little bit more on the side if you're the offense, because they've really only called 3 or 4 offensive fouls out of all the fouls we've seen today.
It'll be Robinson, Hastings, Steinkamp, Thornton, and Wade on the floor to start the fourth for head coach Lauren Martin and the Cougars. While for the Falcons, it'll be Betcher, Foster, Hafman, Aubry, and Chambers for head coach Stacey Brenner-Jones and the Falcons.
Another thing that we've seen in the stat sheets that we're looking at right now, the Cougars ended the half with 9 turnovers. They had 7 in that last quarter alone, so obviously they got a little sloppy with the ball, so they have to regain a little bit more of that.
And a trip up there. So going to redo the inbound either way. Clock never officially started, as now Core is going to come on in. So looks like we have a issue at the scorer's table, I think with the clock. I think they took off 1 second because it was a deflection out of bounds. So they will redo it now, and we're all set to go. Into the backcourt, it's over to Foster. Foster guarded by Robinson. Again, it's going to be hard to get separation against a defender like Robinson, as Chambers leaving this off for Aubry. Inside shot is way off, and that is tipped off the Cougars last, and it'll stay with the Falcons and 13 on the shot clock as Cameron Cratnell comes in for the Falcons, replacing Reagan Aubry.
You see that the Falcons tried to run kind of reverse direction, misdirection there at the top of the free throw line. Nice shot by Michaela Thornton, just really staying home and not worrying about trailing, just staying in front of her defender.
That one, it hit towards Thornton. Ball on the floor for a moment. Falcons nicely recover. 3 on the shot clock, though. Inside, off the glass, and rolling it home is Emily Hafman.
And that's just Hafman having the advantage over Hastings right there in the post. Not a usual post player, and definitely seeing the size advantage and just throwing up a layup there as the shot clock expired.
Cougars have missed their last 9 from three-point land. As Hastings with 10 on the shot clock. It's Thornton trying to create separation on a fake. Inside, turnaround, jumper, good.
And we haven't really called her name that much on the offensive side as much because of the misses, but you can see there how effective she is, laid on her feet, swiveling around and creating that defensive space.
And right on cue, you talk about defense. It's a 2-on-1 now for offense. Robinson off the glass and in and 1. Taking the blocking foul there for the Falcons was Caitlin Foster, and Robinson has a free throw coming.
And we've said it so many times tonight that she's so good in contact situations. The most important thing there was she stayed composed and controlled the body, but she also, one thing too, she saw the defender and she moved off to the side. That's why they got the block call there on Foster, because she moved away.
Full timeout called by the Falcons. 8:43 to go here in regulation, 35-30, and the tension in the Geisman Gymnasium is rising and rising some more as we go along here, as the game gets closer and closer.
We've seen it. It was so amazing to see the Cougars right now because of the energy that they just had. They were down by 8. And you just see there the swing of events that came from a free throw and now to a layup off a steal, and now you're back at the line for an and 1. It was a smart decision there by the Falcons and Coach Bruner Jones to take a timeout, because that's one thing you don't want your team to do in situations is get out of characteristics when you have the 5-point lead.
So we come back in now off the timeout. Cougars back out on the floor. So far in the points off of turnovers department. A credit to the Cougars as they've been taking advantage of that, leading in that edge 9-4. But of course here, 16 free throws made by the Falcons, only 5 for the Cougars. Perhaps that changes a little bit here if Robinson makes this and one. Let's see if she does it. Yes, ma'am. Back to a 4-point game. Foster. Faced a double team for a moment as Hafman inside gets a nice move in the lane and scores.
That's a little just miscommunication there on the Cougars, and you see Hafman just being strong in the lane, reading the defense, and that's what happens when you get that sweep of the ball under. It just gives you an extra second to look and analyze the defense.
Steinkamp to Robinson, now right side. Robinson, left-hand dribble to the left corner, who almost threw it away as she was looking for Thornton, but Thornton recovers, tries to get it inside, finds Core, can't get the first shot, and ball still alive for a moment, and that is a foul on Steinkamp. So for Steinkamp, that is her first. She comes out, Ray comes in. And you get a look at Lauren Martin a moment ago, trying to direct the players out on the floor. Down by 6, under 8 minutes to go. A long way to go in this one. Betcher trying to drive baseline. Poked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Falcons. 15 on the shot clock. Betcher will have the baseline inbound. Now to the top area for Foster. She's guarded by Ray. In now to Hafman with 5. And a blocking foul on Core. And that's going to be her third. And you don't really want to have these fouls rack up again, because if you get them into the bonus, and we've seen how many free throws the Falcons have taken already, especially here at this late stage of the game, you don't want that to become a factor again, as this 3-ball is a pull-up shot there from Chambers. That's short. Core gets the rebound. Robinson taking matters in her own hands. Count it, and the foul!
You see the confusion there in transition, and that's what's so good about Robinson. She's quick, and she knows what she's looking for, and you can see Coach Martin there getting amped up as well, because she knows what that layup meant for her team.
Robinson, another and one opportunity to cut this to a one-possession game. Doesn't work. Rebound there to Kratt. Kratt going inside, and another foul on Core, and that's 4 for her. So now we'll see who comes in her place. Or does Lauren Martin trust her to stay out there? No action on the CUC bench right now, as his first free throw is no good, off the hands of Kratt. Now it looks like Jaylene Wade is going to check in at the scorer's table. So if this is made, you'd like to think that she's going to replace Core because of the foul trouble. But as that one is made, Cameron Shaliga comes in. We talked about her. She's got 4 as well. She's back in with 7:14 to go. And Core does come out. So a player with 4 comes out, and then another on the opposite team, though, comes in.
But if you're the Falcons, the player with the 4 fouls right there in Shaliga, that is your key player right now. And you can kind of see how they were a little off-sort and they're out of tempo because she was on the bench for the last remaining part of the third quarter and now in the fourth.
Thornton gets the nice roll. Back to a 3-point game. And because of Shaliga having to stay out because of those fouls, Hafman has become the team's leading scorer with 13 here tonight, while Shaliga enters with 9. High pass to the right side as driving is Chambers. Now over to Foster with 10 on the shot clock. Hafman, spin move in the paint, circles to the left elbow. 4 on the shot clock. Shaliga, that's a high arcing 3, and it's swished.
And you see the difference that she makes when she's on the court, that extra sharpshooting effect that she had. First 3 of the night, and she knocks it down.
She's a 33% three-point shooter as Wade inside, trying to separate their misses, and the rebound to Foster.
And we talked about that. That's one of the shots that you don't want to see if you're the Cougars right now. You're down by 6. Each possession matters so much. You got to take control of the ball, and you can't be forcing uncharacteristic shots like that.
Betcher to the left angle. Leaves it for Hafman. Almost had it poked from behind. There was Shaliga by Robinson. 10 on the shot clock. They look to go inside. Hastings poked it away. Hafman on the baseline. Tough shot, no. Wade the rebound, and a jump ball is called. Arrow to the Cougars. Cameron Kratnow is in. Emily Hafman is out. Wade with 5.5 to go. Robinson. Oh, lost the handle. That's a rare mishandle on the dribble as Kratz stops. Had a 2-on-1 if she wanted it, as Betcher's 3 is good. Timeout, Lauren Martin and the Cougars. And it's a 9-point lead, the biggest of the night for the Falcons. Betcher coming up clutch. That's her second 3 made here tonight.
You see the swing of things that we've seen the Cougars. They were hot for a while, and now they're on a scoreless 140 run right now. And they're 3-pointers too, 1 of 9, which is something that we really haven't seen from a team that loves to shoot the 3 and actually makes them a lot.
Yeah, both teams kind of eerie in the 3-point department as a whole tonight. CUW 3 of 13, CUC 3 of 14.
Falcons also on a 6-0 run in the last minute 40. So you see, we talked about swings and momentum and energy. Falcons obviously have it now, but Coach Martin calling a timeout, trying to reset the girls.
So that timeout called, and mind you as well, you look at the scorebook here on our screen card, it's only 1 now left for head coach Lauren Martin.
And that's the thing too, when you come down to the late game situations, when you get the pressage and you want to call a timeout, you're in the situation where it's close. You're either going to foul, and we've seen already that the Falcons have hit the free throw, or you're going to let them play in a team that's usually young, but they've come up to the end with veteran experience.
So players come back out on the floor after the full timeout called by Lauren Martin and the Cougars. They trail by 9, 5:16 to go. But we've seen how the Cougars fight when they're down. This isn't the first time they've been in this position before and have rallied. As Robinson brings it ahead into the front court on the far right side. Robinson, left side off the glass and in. And she's now 5 of 6 in her last 6 shot attempts.
She's got the hot hand right now, and hopefully the Cougars keep finding her and giving her the ball, because you can see she's had the defense's numbers so far, and she's really been being slow and methodical in the paint and getting decent shots.
That ball tipped out of bounds, last touched by the Cougars. 4:49 to go. You look there at Lauren Martin trying to call out the defense. Play to the right side is into the paint. Shaliga trying to bounce feed it. It's off of Wade, I think. And the officials are going to talk about this. Right now, possession of the Falcons. And it will stay that way. Rather, okay, they had the 2 up. I thought it was a foul at first, but they're clarifying that it was off of Wade. Off the inbound. That was actually off the fingertips of Robinson, too. 10 on the shot clock for Kraft. Left corner, Betcher. She had a clutch 3 before that last timeout. Floater inside, no. And the rebound to Thornton. Thornton for Wade. Top, circle, 3. It's good!
We've talked about her being that guard where if you get the ball to her, she's a sneaky shooter, and you can see right there, Jaylene Wade just pulling up from the 3-point line, getting the Cougar Crazies back into the game.
And a timeout, 32nd one call by Stacey Brenner-Jones, and the Falcons back to a 4-point game yet again. Here's that 3 from Jaylene Wade a moment ago, Carter Gledhill.
And you see there that the Falcons defenders let her shoot the 3 because it's one of those shots that the Cougars haven't been making all night, but at the same time, they forgot Jaylene Wade is sneaky when she's behind the arc.
See the Cougar mascot giving a hand out there, cleaning up any wet spots out on the floor. 44-40 in the fourth with 4:14 to go. Now it's almost Forza Wild.
It's almost that time.
Again, we've got the men's game between the Falcons and Cougars coming up after this one. Projected tip-off time of around 8:15. That's probably going to be a little bit delayed based on how we're doing things here, but boy, if this is a prelude to what the men's game is going to be. I mean, all three games have been very exciting and how loud this building has gotten, but we knew it was going to be a next-level thing when the Cougars took the floor.
And we've seen that already. The energy brought by the fans here, the players have already been feeling that too.
As Hafman almost had it poked away. Left corner, it's Chambers who is fouled by Wade. And now that's the fourth team foul on the Cougars this quarter. Wade gets called for it. And that's going to be Wade's third. So now the next foul, it's bonus play in favor of the Falcons. Up to the top, Shaliga. Oh, and a nice move in. Robinson gets the block.
Not today. Robinson saves. Great backside movement.
Robinson in and splits the defense, but can't finish the layup. Oh, how close.
And that's how it's been a lot of the night tonight for the Cougars. It's those little roll off the rims on those shots. Wish that you could take another second chance at that.
Robinson with a game-high 16 points and a foul on Ray as Hafman was trying to go up for the shot.
And that's the one of them, if you're Coach Martin, you're looking at, she was under the basket right there and probably wouldn't have had a high chance of making the shot, but now it sends the Falcons to the line for the rest of the game in the bonus.
Emily Hafman at the line. She's 3 of 6 at the line, misses there. Hafman, a 68% free throw shooter on the year coming into action tonight. As Cornell is going to come, oh, no, she's not. She's going to have to wait on the next. If this free throw's made, she'll check in. If not, she'll have to wait for the next dead ball. Now, mind you, Core's coming back in momentarily, but with 4 fouls. And we'll see who she replaces as this free throw is no good either. Robinson the rebound. Charisma Robinson for Ray. That's a left angle 3 that's missed. And the rebound to Hannah Betcher.
You could just feel the energy. Anytime the Cougars have the ball and any shot goes up, it's on the edge. And if this goes in, the next big shot, it's going to be going crazy in Geisman.
Shaliga, tough muscle move inside, misses. Thornton the rebound. Had that poked away and then stolen by Betcher. Betcher misses off the bottom of the rim. It was last touched by Thornton.
But smart play there by Thornton, though, letting the defender, letting the Falcons take the shot, because at the same time, that might have been something that could have been a foul call.
Ray comes out in place of Core. Ray comes out with 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting. She's also 0 of 4 from downtown. Hastings on defense here. Bounce pass, takes a couple of dribbles as it goes to the top of the circle. Shaliga's 3 is no good. Robinson a rebound. She's got 9 of those. Robinson into the paint. No good on the shot, but she's at the line for a pair. As the foul there goes at Emily Hafman, and for Hafman, that's her second. So her second personal puts Robinson back at the line, who's 2 of 4 from the line so far here tonight. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks on 7 of 16 shooting. Robinson's first free throw is off the back rim and no good. I mentioned Robinson, not a known free throw shooter. And with the stage as big as it is, these are the biggest free throws she's having to make in her young career in her first year from Broadview.
Also remember, too, you got 2:49 left, so they still have a lot of time to work here if you're the Cougars. Just got to take your breaths, work the offense, but again, you have to hit your free throws in these situations.
Cougars now 6 of 13, and a over and back call. Wow. A big mistake there, as those missed free throws get bailed out by a Falcons turnover.
And you see, but not as many times have we seen that the Cougars have been given that gift of a second chance, so it's important now in the second part of this game, and definitely later in this quarter, they have to take advantage of those and come out with some kind of possession that's quality.
Hastings off the feed in from Thornton. Hastings, turnaround shot, that's blocked partially by Betcher. And that's not going to be easy for Hastings, who's 5'3", going up against a 5'8" defender.
And I could see her point there trying to get back on the scoreboard. Only 1 of 7 tonight. But in that situation, you just have to trust your other teammates are going to make a shot because that wasn't the highest quality shot they could have gotten out of that possession.
Betcher, top of the circle now for Shaliga. Or excuse me, that was Hafman. Approaching 2 minutes to go. Chambers driving with 5 on the shot clock. Shaliga pumps it in, off the glass, no, gets her own rebound, turnaround shot misses, but it's a foul, and she'll have free throws as the foul now goes on Michaela Thornton. That's also the 5th team foul, so it's the bonus in favor of CUW the rest of the way. And also that was the 3rd personal on Thornton.
You're getting to that point now, though, where fouls, depending on players, it might not be a huge advantage for the Cougars right now, but you're going to get to that point where you're going to have to try to send the Falcons to the free throw line in order to try to get some possession backs and get yourself back in the game.
Shaliga makes the free throw. She's got 13 points, 7 rebounds. She's 6 of 9 at the line so far tonight as a 56% free throw shooter on the season. Misses the second one. Thornton gets the rebound. Thornton. Kick out. Wade. 3. Yes! And the Geisman Gymnasium has erupted.
Ice in her veins, staying composed, and you've seen that so many times. You just see she's so confident. Thornton looking for her off the ball dribble every time. Jaylene Wade, fantastic look.
On the right side, a whistle and a charge! A charge has been called! And it's gonna go on Chambers. It's Cougars basketball. 90 or 89 seconds to go. 1 possession game.
This is a huge possession here if you're the Cougars. Not only if you could tie it up, but you could take the lead. So run your offense. If I was Coach Martin right now and trying to get the ball in, you're either giving it to Robinson or you're giving it to Wade in the corner or the top of the key for the 3.
It is thunderous inside the Geisman Gymnasium. Hastings. Robinson. Step back, free throw line jumper, no good. Rebound, Core had it for a moment and then taken by Betcher.
Still have time here. You don't need to foul if you're the Cougars. Play solid defense, and you have that 1 timeout left, so remember that.
Almost a travel there as we have under a minute to go. A nervous excitement in this gym. Chambers. 8 on the shot clock. Chambers around a indirect screen, misses the open layup. Robinson gets the rebound. Charisma Robinson, and a timeout called by Lauren Martin and the Cougars.
You see a lot of the fans there wondering why they did that, but that's a smart timeout by Coach Martin because of the fact that you're going to reset your offense and set up a play that's going to work, because even if you didn't call a timeout there, it would have been a 50-50 on what happens.
Let's get one last look here. This was that crucial 3 that was made by Wade.
And you see Wade just being aware and in a shooting-ready position the whole time. Thornton being smart, knowing that she has defenders in front of her, not going to get a quality shot, so kicking it out to Wade at the top of the key, something she's been so good at throughout the year.
What a Friday night inside the Geisman Gymnasium for the Concordia Invitational Tournament. It had a heavyweight championship fight feel to it, and that's what we're getting as we basically enter the 12th round.
The Cougar Pride Band right now playing the final countdown, and it definitely is that because both teams, we talked about it earlier, going down to the wire, who's going to be the strongest one at the end and stay composed as well. Cougars have the chance here to take the lead, and they just got to stay close and composed.
Thornton will inbound into Robinson. She's got 16. That's a charge. Robinson gets called for the charge. That'll be her second foul, and we're going the other way.
Something, though, you can look at, though, if you're a Cougar fan, you still have the shot clock difference of 3.8 seconds, so not a terrible amount of time difference. But now the question is, who do you foul in the inbound pass here and send the Falcons to the free throw line, which they've been so good at tonight?
That one off of Robinson, out of bounds. You look at the players on the floor out there right now, I don't know if it says it really matters who you foul because they've made 18 free throws on 30 attempts and 60%, but we've seen the ones that you wouldn't think can make free throws. Well, they've been pretty good at it so far tonight. As Foster, as the backcourt pressure is faced. And that is a foul on Thornton. That's going to be a block. And that's Thornton's 4th. Again, free throws the rest of the way for both sides.
It might have worked in favor of the Cougars if you think about it, though, because Haifman is if you look on the court right now, only 3 for 8 and is the worst shooting out of the 5 Falcons on the court.
She's a 68% free throw shooter on the season, as Core now comes out for Ray, of course, obviously for an offensive purpose here. The junior from Hales Corner, Wisconsin, at the line, makes the first.
This next free throw is really going to dictate how the Cougars are going to respond to the ball here. If she makes it, you might see a quick release from Robinson, or not, you're going to have a set play on the offensive side.
Off the front of the rim and in. It's back to a 2-possession game.
Smart play there by Robinson, rolling the ball, not worrying about the clock, because under a minute the clock stops after every made basket.
Robinson with 22 to go. Wade stepping into a three. It's good!
Jaylene Wade icing her veins. It's exactly what the Falcons did not want to happen, and the nightmare of Jaylene Wade strikes again for the Cougars.
47-46 because of this.
And you see there, look at how calm and composed she was. She didn't stress about that shot. She said, I'm going to knock it down. And boy, oh boy, do we have a nail biter here in Geisman.
17.2 seconds remaining. And what's crazy to think is that we still have another game after this one. And it's going to be just as loud. And the fans are still filing on in here for that nightcap, which is probably going to tip off, I'd say, around maybe 8:30, 8:45 at this point. But I don't think anybody cares about a 9 o'clock tip-off for the men's game now.
And nobody cares because the energy in Geisman right now is phenomenal. Everybody is on their feet on the student section side. It's going to be a nail-biter here. Now you're looking at both defensive schemes and offense and trying to figure out, if you're the Falcons, who are you trying to inbound the ball to here? And especially the Cougars, if you're going to foul someone, who are you going to foul? My best bet is probably going to be Haifman again, because she did go 2 for 2 from the line, though, but she's still not shooting as well as some of the other players.
Full timeout on the floor called by head coach Stacey Brunner-Jones. Again, I'll be having the opportunity to speak to the winning coach after the conclusion of this game. And boy, oh boy, another 17.2 thrilling seconds, or maybe free basketball. We don't know yet.
How about that? Free basketball in Geisman might be insane.
It's Ray, Thornton, Wade, Robinson, and Hastings on the floor for the Cougars. Betcher, Haifman, Shaliga, Foster, and Chambers for the Falcons. Into Shaliga. And a quick foul off of Thornton's hands, and Thornton has fouled out. That's 5. So Thornton now has to sit out, as that's her 5th. We'll see who comes in her place. Shaliga at the line today is 6 of 10. And it'll be Maddie McGrath coming in her place. So the night ends for Thornton, 4.7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks.
5 blocks, that's huge, just to see how special of a player Thornton is, because even though she didn't do it as much as we've seen on the offensive side, 5 blocks, though, that's still a lot of points off the scoreboard that could have been for the Falcons.
Shaliga, the first of 2. Misses. Now for the Cougars, there's no timeouts here. So if you get this rebound, there's still time to bring it up the floor and set a play. That one rolls in.
Great job again by them, noticing, no worry about the time there. Here we go.
Wade with the handles, with 10. Wade with 8. Ray has it with 6. Ray to Wade for the win. No! And that's how the game comes to an end. What a finish. Inside the Geisman Gymnasium, Wade went for it all. And Carter, you can't blame her.
You see, but the one thing, even though the result might have not been what the Cougars wanted, look at the difference between the first game we saw 10 days ago to this game. The last game was 81-47. This game is 48-46. So to see a team and Coach Martin come out and respond to that game with only losing by 2 and took it down to the wire. That's something that's been phenomenal to see.
What a phenomenal game we had here tonight. 48-46, the final. As we'll be speaking to Stacey Brenner-Jones, the head coach, in just a couple of moments. Right now I'm speechless as to what game we just witnessed, Carter. And before I know, you'll have to hand the headset over to Coach Jones. Your final thoughts.
That was a phenomenal game by the Cougars and the Falcons, well deserving, and it's going to be exciting tomorrow to see the Cougars in that game as they play Ann Arbor.
So as Carter will give up the headset to the winning coach for the Falcons of Concordia, Wisconsin, I'll even give her a box score of tonight's final matchup as well. Coach Stacey Brenner-Jones joins us here as we continue on the postgame show. You're all good, all good. Carter and I were calling this a heavyweight fight to the finish, and well, it literally took all the way to the finish for that to happen.
It did. I'm exhausted.
we kind of feel the same way as well. I mean, you see that final possession, and I mean, for the Cougars' credit, Wade did have a good look.
Oh my gosh, I cannot give more credit to Concordia Chicago. I mean, we just played them up there, and obviously that was a lopsided game, and they gave it to us, and they hit so many big shots, and they played great, and somebody had to lose and somebody had to win.
You just brought up the game from 10 nights ago. Yep. Obviously, it was different compared to how the outcome came. Of course, you guys still had the W, but the pace of play was different. The way the game flowed was different.
Completely.
What changed tonight?
Honestly, CUC's defense. We are a transition team. We did not get a lot of transition baskets. We were awful on offense. But really, if you can see where our season has come from, and we were so bad in the beginning of the year, and we've just had to find that grit, and tonight we needed that grit, and we got the win.
I know Shaliga went out with those 4 fouls in the third quarter. You took her out, and the question was, how long did she stay out? It came with roughly about 7 minutes to go in the fourth, and a credit to Emily Haveman, who kind of took over that offensive side of things to really help keeping that offense going and keeping the lead that you guys had.
Yeah, that's always a tough thing as a coach when one of your starters has 4, when to put them back in, and it worked out.
Now, of course, looking ahead to tomorrow, I know you're exhausted now. Just a quick thing here. We've seen the Bulldogs and how they had their steals coming from out of nowhere. I know you'll rest tonight, and you know how crazy this gym was already.
Right.
I mean, the excitement for tomorrow is going to be, you'll reset now and get ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm just going to, and people might not like this, but tonight was what mattered.
Right.
And this is a conference game, and this is what matters. Tomorrow is just, it's a basketball game that we'll do our best to beat a scholarship division, a scholarship team that's ranked 3rd in the country.
Right.
So, to me, it's a basketball game. It means a lot, and I get it, but this was what mattered tonight.
You mentioned this as a conference game that you just had. And it really felt like, in a way, like a conference championship, so to speak, based on how the atmosphere was in here tonight.
Well, and Lauren would agree that, gosh, if we could do this on our campuses all the time, how fun would that be? If we could have CIT at, home games all the time, it would be great. But hopefully both of our fans got a good taste of some good basketball, and hopefully they come and see us at home.
I know myself and Carter did lower the heart rate. Go get some rest. Congratulations on the victory. That's Coach Jones with us here from the Concordia, Wisconsin Falcons. They get the 48-46 victory over the Cougars. They're taking on the CUNE Bulldogs tomorrow in the Women's CIT Championship game. We'll be back in about 23 minutes from now when it's the male side of things taking place. The men cap off the CIT Day 1. It's the Cougars and the Falcons coming up next. I'm sweating. Now I'm really sweating. Now I'm really sweating.